Today I would like to begin not with advice, but with a question. What does it truly mean to begin again when your life is already half written? For many women in their 50s and beyond, remarriage does not arrive as a romantic fantasy. It arrives quietly, sometimes gently, sometimes with urgency, and it brings with it questions that are deeply human, yet not easily answered. Is it still right for me to fall in love again? At this stage of life, is remarriage a wise decision or a risk? These are not trivial concerns. They are necessary reflections. But after observing countless real lives and real relationships, one truth becomes clear. There is a more fundamental question beneath all of them. Not, can I find the right person? But rather, am I ready for remarriage? Because most people approach remarriage from the outside in. They imagine an ideal partner, someone financially stable, emotionally understanding, kind, and compatible. Someone who will finally understand them. But reality does not begin with finding the right person. It begins with understanding yourself. Remarriage is not simply the act of meeting someone new. It is something far more complex. It is the merging of two fully formed lives, two histories, two emotional systems, two sets of habits, wounds, expectations, and survival strategies. This is not a fresh beginning. It is a reconfiguration of everything that already exists. And that is precisely why self-understanding is not optional. It is foundational. Let me be clear, this discussion is neither for nor against remarriage. Its purpose is precise to eliminate the psychological and structural realities that must be understood before making such a decision. Because when people consider remarriage, they are often influenced by three powerful emotional forces at once: love, loneliness, and anxiety about the future. It is here that the situation becomes precarious. Decisions made under the pressure of loneliness often distort perception. Loneliness, when intense, does not simply create desire, it reshapes reality itself. It can make something temporary feel permanent, something uncertain feel destined, and something incomplete feel sufficient. This insight is not merely modern psychology, it echoes ancient wisdom. Human suffering often arises not from reality itself, but from mistaking our own projections for reality. And nowhere is this more evident than in relationships. People confuse loneliness with love, anxiety with destiny, emotional hunger with compatibility. This confusion becomes particularly powerful in midlife, because midlife is not just the passage of time, it is a structural shift in life itself. Children become independent, social circles narrow, professional identities begin to change, and the future, once distant, now feels immediate. All of these changes generate a powerful internal signal. I don't want to be alone. There is nothing wrong with that desire. It is deeply human. But at that moment, a critical distinction must be made. Are you seeking love or escaping loneliness? If that question is not answered honestly, remarriage does not become a new chapter. It becomes a repetition and extension of unresolved patterns in a different form. So today, rather than offering romantic advice, we focus on something more essential: the psychological conditions required for a stable and meaningful remarriage. Because remarriage is not merely emotional, it is structural. It is a life decision that requires clarity, internal stability, and readiness. This leads us to another important question. What kind of man contributes to a stable remarriage? At first glance, this seems simple. Many imagine a good man as kind, warm, and emotionally available. And while those traits matter, they are not sufficient. In reality, stability in relationships is rarely determined by personality alone. It is shaped by something deeper: the structure of a person's life and the values that sustain it. First, a stable life structure. Stability is not merely financial. It includes consistent habits, emotional regulation, and a balanced daily life. When these elements are present, relationships tend to stabilize naturally. But when they are absent, when life is chaotic, emotionally volatile, or economically unstable, that instability inevitably enters the relationship. Second, A man who has made peace with his past. In remarriage, the past does not disappear. It is either integrated or repeated. Does he still carry resentment? Does he blame his former partner entirely? Or does he demonstrate reflection and self-awareness? These are not small details. They are indicators of emotional maturity. A person who has not processed their past does not enter a new relationship. Freely, they bring unresolved patterns with them. Third, a man who does not avoid responsibility. At this stage of life, conflict is inevitable. Two individuals with decades of experience will not align perfectly. The issue is not whether conflict exists, but how it is handled. A mature partner does not withdraw or deflect. He remains present, engages, and takes responsibility for his role in the situation. Finally, a man who understands respect. Respect in midlife relationships is not a courtesy. It is a structural necessity. By this stage, both individuals have established identities, habits, relationships, and boundaries. A respectful partner does not attempt to reshape your life. He learns how to stand beside it. This brings us to a deeper philosophical insight. Human relationships can take two fundamental forms. One where the other person is treated as a function, a role, a means to an end, and another where the other is encountered as a complete, independent being. Many relationships begin with genuine recognition, but gradually shift into expectation and utility. A stable remarriage depends on resisting that shift on, maintaining a relationship grounded in mutual respect, not dependency. This leads us to a critical distinction. A good person is not necessarily a good partner. Someone may be kind, yet emotionally immature, warm, yet unstable, charming, yet avoidant when it matters most. Discernment, therefore, becomes essential. And now we must confront the most uncomfortable truth of all. Beneath logic, beneath analysis, there is one emotional force that silently shapes many remarriage decisions: loneliness. So let me ask you honestly, when you imagine remarriage, what are you truly responding to? Is it love, shared meaning, companionship, or is it the fear of being alone? In many real-life cases, loneliness sits at the center. And loneliness has a unique power. It distorts perception. It magnifies what is appealing and minimizes what is dangerous. Red flags become minor issues. Incompatibilities become things we can work on. Structural risks become temporary. But time reveals what emotion conceals. And what once seemed small can become the very fault line of the relationship. So before any commitment is made, one question must be answered with complete honesty. Am I choosing this person because I truly want them, or because I am afraid of being alone? The answer to that question does not just influence the relationship. It defines it. Relationships born from loneliness often become structures of dependency, but those born from inner stability become sources of mutual enrichment. One seeks to fill a void. The other expands an already complete life. In our next discussion, we will examine loneliness more deeply, its psychological structure, its power, and its risks. If today's perspective has given you something to reflect on, consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this with someone who may be standing at a similar crossroads. Because sometimes a single moment of clarity can prevent years of regret. Thank you.